Christine from the Granville branch of the Kent District Library, and I'm here to tell you about a few books that I really love and that I hope that you will enjoy as well. Before I start talking about the books themselves, I do have a couple of other things I want to go over. The first is that I have a friend who would like to say hi. That friend is the Library Llama. Those of you who come visit the Granville Library may already know Library Llama, but Library Llama would just like to say hello to all of their new and old friends. Library Llama would also like to tell you that all of the books that I'm about to tell you about are amazing, and you should check them out immediately after this book talk ends. And yes, Library Llama is an alpaca, but that's a secret, so don't tell anybody that. All right, the next thing that I want to mention to you is that all of the books I'm about to show you are available as physical books as well as audiobooks on CD through KDL. But since our building is currently closed, the way that you access those books right now is to place a hold on them online. And then as soon as that hold is available, we will let you know. And once you get that notification, you can come into the branch and get it via curbside pickup service. If you want more information about how any of that works or how to use it, all you have to do is go to Google and type in KDL space curbside, and this is what you will see. You just click on this first link here, and that will take you to the KDL blog, which will look like this, and it lists all of those steps right there for you. There is even a handy dandy video to help you out if you need it. All right, if you would rather read or listen to the book using a device like your phone or a tablet, iPad, computer, that kind of thing, you can absolutely do that as well. All of these books are available through the Hoopla, Libby by Overdrive, and or RBDigital apps, which you can access using your KDL library card. If you don't know how to download these or want more information about any of them, all you have to do is go to kdl.org/downloads, and that'll give you all the information that you need to access these books. Last thing I'll mention before we jump into the book talks is that as I'm telling you about a book, you'll see a banner at the bottom of the screen right here, and that banner is just going to tell you where these books are available and in what formats you can get them in from that place. So for example, this one, you can get a physical book or an audiobook on CD through the KDL branch by placing a hold and then following that curbside pickup service. You can also get an ebook or an e-audiobook from both Hoopla and the Libby apps. We recommend using Hoopla or trying it out just because multiple patrons can have something checked out at once on Hoopla, whereas on Libby or RBDigital, you might have to place a hold and wait a little bit until the title becomes available. All right, we have the banner for the first book up here, so we may as well jump in and get started. That book is Let's Call It a Doomsday by Katie Henry. This book is a really great, beautiful portrayal of friendship, family, and faith. I also think it does a really good job of representing a character who's just starting to question their sexual orientation and is figuring out how that identity of theirs can coexist with their faith. And this is kind of a side plot that's happening while a bunch of other things are going on as well. The main character of this book, her name is Ellis, and she is a prepper. Now, there is a difference between preppers and survivalists. Ellis will have you know that. And the difference is that survivalists have specific skills that they could use to help them out after a natural disaster or in a post-apocalyptic society type of situation. Maybe they know how to hunt or fish or do something like that. Preppers, on the other hand, they have stuff. They have survival gear and supplies that'll help them survive that natural disaster or apocalyptic event. And Ellis is a prepper. She's got stuff. Now, prepping is not like a family thing for her. She's the only one in her family who does it. Her parents actually hate it, and they have banned everyone they know from giving her gift cards as presents because they know that she's just going to spend it all buying more survival gear and supplies. Now, doomsday is not the only thing that causes Ellis to worry. She feels a lot of anxiety over everyday things as well, things like crossing the street or interacting with other people. She does see a therapist to help manage her anxiety. And one day when she is leaving her therapy session, she runs into this girl who she has never met before, but this girl seems to know her. She finds out that the girl's name is Hannah, and Hannah tells Ellis that she has had a vision of the apocalypse. And in her vision, Ellis and Hannah are together when it happens. But she doesn't have a lot more detail than that. However, in the vision, there are various clues. So the girls set out to figure out what these clues mean and figure out when this apocalypse is going to occur, how it's going to occur, important stuff like that. Along the way, Ellis starts to meet Hannah's friends, including her friend Tal. Tal and Ellis were raised in the same Mormon church, but Tal has recently left the church after coming out as bisexual. And all of Ellis's new friends and experiences all start having her kind of questioning the things that she has always been told were truths and that she always just kind of accepted as truths without thinking about them. And she now is starting to explore her own faith, her own beliefs, and her own identity, all while the clock counts down to doomsday. Book number 2 is Not So Pure and Simple by Lamar Giles. This book is about Del, who leads a nice, simple life. He goes to school, he goes to church with his mom, he goes to parties with his best friend Quan, who is completely girl obsessed, and sometimes he goes to work at Monty Fish Shows, which is a fast food restaurant where he works with his coworker Maya, who is an overachiever for sure, at least Del thinks so, and he finds it super annoying. But Del's simple life gets a little more complicated when he finds out that Kiara, this girl he has had a crush on since they started in the kindergarten play together, is finally single. Del figures this is his chance to ask her out. But in his haste to win her over, he accidentally joins Purity Pledge, which is a group of teens at his church who are promising to abstain from having sex until after they're married. Del isn't really sure how he feels about this, but goodness knows everyone around him sure has an opinion that they are more than willing to share. Del's mom is so happy that he's joined this group. His dad just kind of seems confused about it, and his best friend Quan is kind of making fun over him about it. But Del figures in the long run, if it's going to help him win Kiara over, it's totally going to be worth it, and he's all in. But this is when things start to get really complicated. In their first group meeting, he makes a terrible impression on Kiara, and this kid, Jameer, who's in their class, he offers to help Del out. Jameer has been Kiara's friend and longtime neighbor, and he says that he can help Del win her over, help him convince Kiara that he is the perfect guy for her, but he's going to have to do something for Jameer in exchange. Del is the only one of the Purity Pledgers whose parents signed the permission slip that is needed to get into the sex ed class at their high school, and Jameer wants Del to get answers to all of the other Purity Pledgers' questions in exchange for his help. In addition to all of this going on, Del's older sister Cressy has started a YouTube channel, and that channel she's using to post about a local news story and to call out the town for some things that she sees happening and how they're treating the people involved in these news stories that she finds really problematic. And this is all kind of riling people up in town, and now Del is caught in the middle of it. But as Del starts to watch Cressy's videos and get to know Jameer, Kiara, and the other Purity Pledgers, he starts to confront his own assumptions, behaviors, and choices and acknowledge how they have affected him as well as how they affect the other people around him. This is a really great coming-of-age story with strong, realistic characters, deep questions, and a few schemes along the way. Next up is The Bells by Danielle Clayton. This is the first in a really unique fantasy series. If you liked the Selection series, I think you'll really like The Bells as well. It has kind of a similar theme of an outsider trying to navigate court life with some danger and intrigue along the way. This book takes place in the Kingdom of Orleans. And in this kingdom, pretty much everyone is born gray. meaning that they have gray, wrinkled skin, gray hair, and red eyes. The few exceptions to this are called belles, and the belles are born with a variety of skin tones and hair colors and eye colors, just like you and me in the real world. And the belles are considered the keepers of beauty, not only because they themselves are beautiful, but because they have a magic called arcana that they can use to make the other greys beautiful as well. They can change people's hair colors, skin tones, eye colors. They can even change things about people's appearances, like make their nose smaller or longer, things that we would normally think of as plastic surgery. They can make that happen using their magic. However, these treatments are temporary. They're also very painful and they're expensive. The belles are raised apart from the rest of the society in a place called La Maison Rouge de la Beauté, which means the Red House of Beauty. And at this place, they are taught how to harness the arcana and to use it to transform people. But when they are 16 years old, there is a huge festival that everyone from Orleans comes to, including the royal family. And at this festival, each of the belles gets a chance to showcase their talents for the crowd. And at the end of the festival, the queen picks the belle that she thinks is the most talented, and that belle will go to live at court and serve the royal family and the other nobles living at the palace. The other belles, those who were not chosen by the queen, will be sent to various beauty centers all around the Kingdom of Orleans, where they will provide treatments for anyone who can afford them. Camelia Beauregard has always wanted to be the court belle and follow in her mother's footsteps, but when she is given the chance to do so, she uncovers a secret that threatens the life of the princess and the life of anyone who knows about it, which now includes Camelia herself. The fourth and final book I have for you today is called Here to Stay by Sarah Farazan. It's about Bijan, and Bijan's a pretty average American high schooler. He loves comics, he plays JV basketball, and he's very funny. He likes to imagine NBA commentators commentating on what's happening in his everyday life. For example, walking down the hallway, then there will all of a sudden be NBA commentators narrating what's happening, and it's really, really entertaining. Bijan also has a crush on a girl named Elle, who's totally out of his league. She's very popular, and he feels like he isn't. But all of that changes one day when he is bumped up to the varsity team, and during a really important basketball game, he makes the winning shot. Now when he walks down the hallway, everyone knows who he is. They all want to say hi to him and invite him to do things. But his newfound fame starts kind of going downhill as he gets into fights with one of his teammates, who's a total jerk. He gets involved in the debate over the controversial school mascot, and one day he wakes up to find an email that's been sent out to the entire student body that is a picture of a terrorist with Bijan's face photoshopped onto it. Now all of a sudden, Bijan feels like he is famous around school for all the wrong reasons. People are pitying him. Other people are using it as a chance to be even meaner to him. People stare at him and whisper about him, and he wishes he could just go back to being invisible. But when the anonymous bully targets another person, Bijan and his friends decide that they have had enough. They are going to track this anonymous bully down and put an end to all of this. Here to Stay by Sarah Farazan is a really hard-hitting story. Which means it's very direct, it's very honest, but it's also really entertaining. Bijan's funny, he's really likable. He has great friends who are also really entertaining. And I highly, highly recommend this book, especially if you're into basketball, because it does kind of have those scenes with some action on the basketball court. Ultimately, this is a great story of friendship and how to deal with the hate that comes your way. Now, before I take off here, I want to mention just a couple of last things. The first one is that there's going to be another book talk for teens next week, Saturday at 2 p.m. That's going to be with Miss Bethany, so be sure to tune in for that. And starting Tuesday, we are kicking off our multi-day teen photo scavenger hunt. It's going to be super cool, and there are prizes to win. So if you want to check out more information about that and figure out how to enter, all you have to do is go to kdl.org/teens. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really enjoyed telling you about all of these books, and I hope that you enjoy reading them. See you later.